Greetings and welcome. This is the second seminar today, sponsored by the Business Information Professional Student Career Pathway Series, and this is powered by LinkedIn. This seminar is focusing on networking on LinkedIn for career readiness, and our speaker is Cecily Hastings. Go ahead, take it away.
Hi there. Nice to see everybody today. I am very excited to be here presenting the first of two sessions that we're going to be having back to back here. This one's going to be really focusing on how to build a LinkedIn profile and to begin your professional networking. And then the next section is going to focus specifically on job seeking and best practices there. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and move forward. We're going to spend about 20 to 30 minutes of our conversation in a slideshow, and then I'm going to go live into the site and show you some information that might be helpful for you as you're trying to um, figure out where you want to build connections and expand your careers. So wanted to start with some basics on what is LinkedIn and why is it important to you. Um, So our vision as a company is to create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. So what that means is basically we're trying to get every employer in the world on LinkedIn today. And we're also trying to get everybody that is a worker at a company or looking for a job, looking to enter the workforce, um, on our platform so that we're able to bridge the connections that matter most to them. So this might be something like trying to expand within your current role once you have a job, but it's also a great place to go to start your career or to just learn about what it's like to work in different types of positions. So our mission as a company is to connect the world's professionals and make them more productive and successful. What this means is we're trying to do that to build those connections for you as efficiently as possible. And we are leveraging a lot of information in order to make that happen. So when you think about what's in this for you, regardless of what you're trying to do professionally, LinkedIn's going to be the place that's going to connect you to opportunity. And we do that by tracking how many people are on our platform, what skills are emerging, what types of jobs are in your regional economy. Um, and we'll go into more detail about the Sacramento area specifically and the alumni from American River. But basically, all of this data and all of this information is processed and it's used to actually bridge those connections for you. So we process actually 1.1 million data points every hour that is working to create the network or the connections that are going to be most valuable to you in your career. We also are looking at like the intents and the information that you put into your profile to help know where we can better bridge those connections. And the connections that you can build, we mentioned a billion members, which is like a very large number, and that's a global number. But we do have about 94% of the workforce in California on our platform. So regardless of what career you're going into, there's a ton of opportunity for you on LinkedIn. We'll again go more into the Sacramento area and also maybe explore some culinary careers as an example on today's session. When it comes to starting a LinkedIn profile, wanted to talk through some of the basics and more importantly, why they are important from a networking perspective and how those are going to help you bridge the professional connections that are going to be most valuable to you. So the first thing I wanted to highlight was adding a photo. This is something that people aren't always 100% comfortable with. Um, putting your photo out there, but it does add legitimacy to your profile as we're seeing a world where there's more and more technology that's working and creating bots and things like that. Having a picture that's authentic and very clearly you helps lead to that authenticity and also help people better visualize what you would be as an employee at their organization, or they'll know if you're going to meet up with them for a networking coffee, what you're going to look like and who they should be looking for. So it's just really a way to add to your professional legitimacy when you're putting a profile photo up. You don't have to go get professional photos done or anything like that. You can take a photo with your phone, but you do want to make it more around your face or make sure that your face is visible. And then also try not to have multiple people in the photo with you. Um, as well. Sometimes people will take like group shots or things like that, and that makes it confusing to figure out who you are. So you want this to be about you specifically. Um, Another thing that you can do just to make it easier as you're doing your professional networking is make sure that you're recording your name so that people know how to pronounce your name properly. This is just helpful. One of the major focuses on LinkedIn is how are you bringing your authentic self into the platform so that you can find the employers that are going to most value the work that you're doing. So this is another way to just make it easier if you're going into interviews or if you're meeting up with people for them to understand like how to pronounce your name properly and make sure that they're identifying you in the correct way. Um, whoop, here we want to add, you can add your pronouns as well. This is going back into making this your authentic self on the platform. Um, there is a focus from a lot of companies on hiring a diverse workforce, and they are looking to bring employees that represent their culture and values. So this is a great way to be able to demonstrate like who you are as an employee and make sure that you're bringing your authentic self into the workforce. You can add your industry on LinkedIn as well. So this is actually an important one, even if you're not in an industry yet. So for Danielle, for your example, if you wanted to add culinary, you could here. But even if you don't have an industry you're in yet, indicating the industry that you're looking to move into, this is going to be one of the things that influences the algorithm that's going to help sync you up with the right connections. So by putting your industry in here, or the industry that you think you might be interested in working in, that's going to help give you more information about what's happening in that industry. That's going to help bring you more people that are working in that industry. That's going to help target jobs for you that are in that industry as well. Um, so this is one of the really important fields that are there. Um, Drafting a summary is probably the next thing that you're going to want to do in your profile. This can be somewhat challenging when you're trying to think about what you're doing in your first job when you don't necessarily have a lot of career history behind you. But you can think about this as kind of like the attributes that make you unique and also what your like hopes and dreams and aspirations are from a career perspective. If you're feeling stuck on this section, one of the things that I recommend job seekers do is actually think through like what are the things that really make me unique in the classroom or the classes that I'm sitting in on? What would my professors say about me? What would my friends say about me? Reflect on all of that, or even ask people those questions to hear what their perspective is on you if you're struggling with doing this. Um, and then figure out what you're looking for from your from an aspirational perspective. So, is it really important to you to be going into a collaborative environment? If that is the case, you want to be highlighting that in here so that people can know who you are and what you are before coming to the table. You can also feature specific content on your profile. This is going to help bring your profile to life. That is general content that can be there. So if you are doing posts on other social media platforms, or if you decide you want to start doing videos on LinkedIn about your internship experience, or if you want to talk about your experience being a community college student, you can highlight some of that information there. Or if there's things like if you've done a research paper that you're particularly proud of, make sure and remove like any, like you don't want your address or anything on there. Same thing's true if you're adding your resume to your profile, make sure you remove personal information. But this is a place where you can showcase that. Or even if you're just part of student groups and have a photo from that group, or have gone to networking sessions or things like that and have photos from that, this is a place where you can showcase some of the things that you've done in that featured area. Then you're going to add your work experience. So if your personal profile is kind of like, what is your value proposition and what are you looking for in a workplace? Detailing your work experience is going to help you really indicate some of the key accomplishments that you've had. This is going to be a little bit different than a traditional resume, in the sense that you don't have to put like uh what you did day to day in that job, but this is a great place to highlight some of your key accomplishments. So some of the things that you've been most proud of in a work study program or in a student organization that you've been part of, or if you worked even a part-time job while you're going through school. This is a great place to indicate some of those things that are helpful for you. So, for example, if you were working as a cashier in a retail store, you might want to be putting like that you have experience with customer service and also were able to balance multiple priorities at the same time. Like those are all skills that are coming through that job that you would have there, that you want to make sure that you're highlighting in your profile. Um, you can also add the types of employment that you have. So this doesn't just have to be full-time positions. You can add volunteer positions, part-time positions, contract positions, internships. Um, and you can also say if it, you can have multiple types of experience that are happening at the same time too. So you want to be as comprehensive and as possible in the experience that you're putting out there. This is going to help as we get into the networking side of things. This is going to help people understand where those mutual connections are and build those relationships for you. Um, so another thing that you can do if you're trying to expand your professional network is activate creator mode on your profile, which will then target information from your industry to you, and enable you to comment or say information about those articles that are coming to you. This is a great way to build virtual connections. So if you're used to going to networking events, like if there's an article about the industry that you're moving into and you're able to connect with other professionals that also care about that industry, this is a great way to be able to get that information in the door and to have a voice, but also to build relationships. So once your profile is all set up, and these are some of the key things that you want to have in there, um, you're also going to want to do things like add volunteer experience. Again, this is going to be as you think about your networking, the more things that you have on your profile, the more that we're going to be able to pull people that you have connections with that are interested in what you want to do. So networking is really helpful. Adding skills to your profile, we match people often, both to jobs, but also to other people that they might want to network with based on skills similarity to either the job posting or the member's profile. So when you add skills to your profile, you're going to have more people coming to you to learn about the work that you're doing. And also you're going to get more jobs targeted to you as well. Requesting recommendations, this lends to your personal credibility. I normally recommend doing like one peer recommendation and then one from someone that was a leader over you. So if you don't have prior work experience, like a professor that you get along really well with or that you've worked closely with could be someone that could write that recommendation as a leader. And then someone that you're working with in a student organization or someone that you had a class with that you felt like that they really understood what you were doing, or you guys worked on a group project together, or something like that, would be a great second recommendation. If you're owning a company and looking to do more work there, like let's say you have a small business or a side hustle that you're trying to do, it also doesn't hurt to have some recommendations from clients that have worked closely with you or other folks in your industry that can lead to the credibility of your company as well. And then things like location will help you sync up with people in your same area. Educational background is going to help you recognize your alumni. And I think one of the benefits of being an American River student specifically is the alumni networks from community colleges are significantly larger than almost any other school that's out there. So you want to make sure you're definitely getting that information on your profile. If you're into blog posts or if you have types of publications that you've done, you want to put that on there. And then accomplishments, whether that's taking a LinkedIn Learning course to get some online certificates or whether that's just things that you've done that you're particularly proud of, making sure that you're as comprehensive as possible across your profile is going to help, again, bridge those connections that are most important to you. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about thought leadership on LinkedIn. This is especially important as you think about building a network and getting your name out there. It lends to your professional credibility, but it also establishes you as a leader or go-getter. And it's also a way to stay top of mind for the connections that are in your network. So it's kind of a passive way of networking if you're building information and putting your information out there on LinkedIn. So whatever your experience is, you probably know more than you realize, and you can use that to help other people that are also trying to advance in their career. We have two types of publishing on LinkedIn. There are content updates. So this would be just posting something to your news feed. And then we also have publishing on LinkedIn, which enables you to do like longer form blog type of posts on the platform. So depending on what you're trying to do, I think I would recommend everybody do the updates for sure, even if that's just resharing information from other resources that you're looking at. But if you feel like you want to be seen as more of a thought leader in a particular area, publishing can be really great. Um, and I think people sometimes get overwhelmed by the idea of becoming like an influencer or publisher on LinkedIn, but there's a lot of things that you can talk about in different ways. Like I have worked with a student that just like started aggregating information about like open internships, and they got like a massive following because of that. There's someone that gave like job search tips or lessons learned from their first internship, or even things like how your personal experience has shaped like the way that you are engaging as a student would be something that would be really relevant and help other students that might be looking to get started think or feel comfortable sharing their perspective as well. So for the updates piece of things, as I mentioned, that's something that we would recommend that everybody do. As you start adding connections to your network, and we'll talk about ways to add connections to your network in a little bit here. But as you start adding connections into your network, it's a great way to stay top of mind. We'll automatically alert you of things like if someone in your network is having work anniversaries or things along those lines. But you can also do things like creating a poll or offering to help out or trying to find an expert or trying to celebrate a specific occasion. Also, as you start following more company pages or even following the American River page, resharing posts and updates again are going to keep you top of mind. So the more often you share, the more top of mind you're going to be in your network. So a few best practices for sharing updates. People always like responding to people. So the more authentic you can be in the posts that you're putting out there, you don't have to, especially in the age of AI, I think authenticity is something that's really valued across society. So thinking about what your voice is and not being like overly formal in the way that you're posting on LinkedIn can really help build engagement and make sure that people are seeing you as a human being and not like an AI bot. Um, Posting frequently. This is again making sure that you're staying top of mind, that people know that you're there as a resource, that they know that you're there as an expert. This is also something if you're going through interviews and don't get a job, but you connect with the recruiters that you interviewed with or the hiring managers that you spoke to. If they start liking and engaging with your posts, they're probably connected with with a lot of other recruiters or a lot of other hiring managers. Or if you're running a company and your clients start engaging with the posts, they're also probably connected to a lot of potential clients. So the more often you post and the more engaging your content is, the more that network is going to grow for you over time. Starting a conversation or sharing your point of view can be a great way to get information out there. Asking for people's perspective when you're sharing your perspective is also a way to drive engagement, because the more engagement you get with your posts, again, the broader the reach of those posts are going to be. Um, Images and videos help increase engagement with content. So beyond just writing a post, even just pulling like a picture or linking to a website, which will automatically pull an image in, or thinking about doing potentially video content can really help drive more engagement with the information you're putting out there. And then finally, creating an opportunity for reciprocity. Um, Not just saying like, this is my perspective, but ending with a question or doing something like a poll where people are engaging and offering their perspective too, is going to, again, help increase that engagement that you're trying to get on the platform. when you think about publishing, that becomes a permanent part of your LinkedIn profile. It also sends it out to every person that's already in your network. And then it also becomes searchable in our online database, which a lot of people use to try to like find advice or information as it relates to their career. So, when you start publishing, you're gonna, instead of doing a post, you're gonna write an article, and that's gonna bring you to the blog post, or you can do video blogs too with a video post, which is something that we've actually seen a huge rise of people using LinkedIn as a video platform as well. Um, and when you think about your post strategy, you want to make sure you're thinking through like, what do I want to be known for? So most of the time in life, I say like live outside the box, do your own thing, like make sure you're leading in your own way. When it comes to trying to build a professional identity, I think it's really important to know who you are and what you're trying to get out of the posts that you're putting out there, if you're doing longer form posts. So if you're looking to be publishing content on a regular basis, the first thing that you want to do is make sure that you have a headline that's drawing people in. This is going to help market the information that you're putting out there. Photos and images, we already talked about how important that is and how we see more engagement across that. That authenticity is going to be important as well. Personal stories resonate really well, whatever perspective you're trying to put out there. Thinking about who you want to reach, this is going back to that box that you're trying to put yourself into. And then finally, uh, make sure you're not going super long on these articles. People have very limited attention spans, so if you're getting more than like an 3 to 5 paragraph essay that you would typically write in a classroom, then you're getting a little bit too long. And so you might want to divide that into multiple posts. So these are some of those examples when I mentioned that you could activate creator mode. This is an example of what that would be, and then you can contribute with other people and see what people are saying here. This will be targeted to you based on the industry that you're in, but it's a great way if you're looking for a starting point to start engagement, but also want to be offering your perspective and aren't necessarily 100% ready to start your own content strategy. That creator mode and those collaborative articles can be really helpful. Um, these are some examples of what creating a dialogue looks like. So you'll see this is Mark was the first person that did that post, but you can see that he's going back and responding back and forth and trying to get other people to comment. So he's getting a lot of comments and responding to those comments that he gets and not just forgetting about his posts once he puts them out there. Bringing to life your personality. So pictures of your pets, like thinking through like what does my daily life look like is really helpful. And then you'll be able to see who you're reaching with your posts. So again, going back to knowing who your audience is and who you're trying to reach, this can be a really great way to make sure that you're staying on top of where you're trying to head. Any questions so far about profile best practices or engaging on LinkedIn?
No.
No. Okay, great. So we are going to switch gears a little bit and talk a little bit more about like how to network on LinkedIn and how to build that professional network. So 70% of professionals get hired at companies where they already have a connection, which is kind of a wild statistic. It doesn't have to be a connection that they knew themselves, but it is something that's an important thing to know. Because if you're just throwing your resume out there over and over again, you're likely not going to drive to the career outcomes that you're looking for. Um, on LinkedIn, I mentioned we have 94% of the workforce in California on our platform. There's a lot of different ways to find connections. So maybe you have a list of companies that you're looking to build relationships with. We have everybody that's working at those companies directly on those company pages. Maybe you're looking to connect and see and just explore where American River College alumni are going to, or you want to see what American River College alumni are at a specific organization. All of that is also available to you um, on your LinkedIn profile. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, like, first of all, some strategies that you can use to help identify where you want to be networking, and then I'm going to walk you through kind of like a best practice when thinking about reaching out with messages on LinkedIn, and how to do that effectively. So I'm going to go ahead and pause here, and then I'm going to go into um, I'm going to go into this Insights platform first, which is something that some members of the campus do have access to right now, including Heidi. Um, but this is a platform that I think when you're thinking about your networking opportunity, and Danielle, I'm going to use you as an example today. But when you think about the opportunity to network and on LinkedIn and what's available to you, um, so food and beverage services, mobile food services might be another one that we want to look at here. With the culinary background or like the baking company that you're looking at. And then we can say like who's on LinkedIn in the Sacramento area in those industries. Um, so right now we have about 34,000 people that are working in different types of culinary careers on LinkedIn. Um, there's a lot of different companies that are hiring for culinary talent on LinkedIn. So if you look at like the number of job posts that people have, a lot of different ones, like some of it might be like larger companies, but you can also find like I want to see who is the president of their own company. So they might be a small business or um, things like that. So then you're going to get into like smaller businesses or things like that. So these are people that are like running organizations that might be valuable contacts for you in the area. So this just gives you a sense of when I talked about all of those data points, first of all, there's every type of industry represented on LinkedIn today. But also there's a lot of ways that you can actually understand and build connections at LinkedIn. Now, if you know specific companies that you're interested in getting more information about, you've already created an excellent LinkedIn profile. So when you're reaching out to someone, they're going to know exactly who you are and why they should want to connect with you because you've done a great job with your summary and you've added in your work experience and everything else that's going to make you really stand out. Then you want to start thinking about like, how am I going to reach out to a specific company? So I'm going to use LinkedIn as an example. So looking at LinkedIn, if you go to the page on LinkedIn that has that's the LinkedIn company page, then if you go into the people tab, this is going to pull back all of the employees that are working at LinkedIn today. So we can see, are there any American River College alumni here? We can check. So this can be a great way to actually back into people that are working at LinkedIn that attended American River College. So these would be people that would be like a warm introduction if you wanted to learn more about the company more broadly. If you wanted to see catering or culinary contacts, you can actually go in and see people that had experience catering working at our company. You can choose the job functions that they're working in. So if we wanted to actually go in and see what does it mean to go into a career in sales, um, we can look at that. Or let's see where people that um, studied my same major, let's say that I was a information technology major as an example. When I go in there, I can find out where did people that got a degree in information technology end up working in the company. And then let's say I wanted to see who are those folks in the Bay Area. This is going to start to narrow down based on um, the information that's in your profile and kind of the types of jobs and the skills and what they did in order to get there. It'll also highlight how well connected you are to those people. So that's another great way to help build connections. In reverse, if you wanted to learn more about who are the people I should be connecting to that attended American River specifically, and this can be also helpful if you want to explore like what are the career options based on the major that I've had. We have a whole alumni tab here that's going to give you access to the 43,000 American River alumni that we currently have on LinkedIn. You can see where they're working if there's a particular place that you want to live. But you can also see what they studied, what they do, and narrow that down so that you're getting those profiles at the bottom. So let's say I studied accounting. We can find the 1,134 people that studied accounting at American River College, and you can see where they're working today. So we have 19 working at the state of California, 16 at the Franchise Tax Board, 11 at CDTFA, Healthcare Services, et cetera. So you're able to see where your connections are going most frequently based on what you studied. Any questions about any of this?
No.
Okay. And then when it comes to actually sending a message to these folks, I think everybody in this program will get access to a premium license as they're leaving the program. But you can also sometimes send messages out to people that have unlocked profiles as well. If you have a premium license, you're able to message people beyond your network. If you don't right now, but you still want to build connections, there are a lot of open profiles. You can go in and send messages here. Before you send a message, I highly recommend looking at the profile information to see if there's anything that you have in common with them. So you can see like this is someone that's in customer service. In this case, we know that this is also an American River alum. So you can talk about their experience attending American River College. But if there's something that stands out in the profile, or it might also be worth looking at researching that the company that they're working at. Um, so she's working at RC Wiley. You can go to the company page and learn a little bit more about what RC Wiley is doing through posts and jobs, and sometimes there'll be career pages and things like that. But if there's something that stands out to you, that's a great thing to open the conversation. So typically when you're sending a message to someone on LinkedIn, you want to be as customized as possible in the way that you're sending the message. So in this case, maybe we want to reference the fact that we both attended American River College. So you can say, hi, Ronisha. Um, I'm looking to explore careers in real estate because that looked like what RC Wiley was doing, and was impressed with the culture at RC Wiley. And then you can say, as a fellow American River alum, I was hoping you could give me some perspective on what it's like to work in that industry or in that job. Would you have 15 minutes to connect? So start with something about them, or I was impressed with X in your profile, something like that, that starts out with something about them or the company that they work at, and then go into what you're asking for from them. And I usually also recommend doing a hard ask for 15 minutes of their time or things like that. That's the equivalent of like trying to ask someone to a coffee chat or something like that, but just doing that in a digital environment. So that's going to be really helpful for helping expand and build your network. And that's the best way to be able to do that outreach. Any questions about any of that?
No, just wanted to make sure this is so when you do a LinkedIn account, it's supposed to be like your personal page, like the personal connection, not a business page, correct?
We do have business pages on LinkedIn also, so you can set up a company page if you have like a small business or something that you're putting out there.
Mm-hmm.
So like that LinkedIn page is a business page, but if we wanted to look at small businesses, let me see if I can find an example of someone that's doing like a find a smaller business example. So I'm going to do 1 to 10 or 11 to 50 as an example here. I'm going to do location Sacramento. And then I'm going to, again, go back down to those industries, which was, so these are allegedly all small businesses in the Sacramento area. But when you set up those company pages, you're able to go into, so this is like 31. I'm going to actually do this by like a smaller business. So let's say we're looking at Partake Foods. I'm going to go in and look at that now. I guess this is actually a larger company. I thought I was going for something smaller, but you can set up a company page here where you can put information on the company that you're running. You can have your logo there. So this would be like what a business page would look like there if you're looking to set that up.
Okay.
But I would say like you want to do your business alongside your personal profile. So your personal profile is building those connections and things like that. And the business page would be focused on like the services that you offer and why your baked goods are the best.
Got it.
Any other questions before I move on?
No.
Okay. Awesome. So, if you're looking to also expand and get more information about people that have similar interests, we also have groups on LinkedIn. So whenever you're running a search, let's say that you're interested in like internships or things like that. You can look for, there's going to be all different types of things that you can find if you just put a general search in up here. But if you look for groups specifically, this is going to pull back places where you can join groups of people that might be interested that might have interesting information for you. So if you have professional interests that you want to explore and want to learn more about what's happening, this is like an example of like apprenticeship, summer training, and winter training opportunities. If you go into this group, I would have to join it in order to be in here, but they'll be sharing information and there'll be information that's in there about some of the information that's there. So this is an example of a workforce program in Southern California that has information about the program that they're running, and it was a way to share data and information within a group of people. So this can also be a really effective way to join groups and to start engaging to build a sense of community on LinkedIn as well. Any questions about that?
Nope, everything makes sense.
Awesome. And then sometimes if you're following companies, like a lot of times they'll have events that they'll be running. So you can either search for events here, or if you're following companies, the events will automatically show up. But this is another way, again, to do virtual networking if you're looking to get into different types of roles. So you can either search directly from the tab, like we looked for groups, or if you start following companies, like a lot of times companies will have events or LinkedIn Live things or things like that that will be targeted to you. That can be another way to build community and connections. And I think that that was all that I had for today, but if you have any questions or if there's anything that I didn't cover, happy to go into a little bit more detail for anything related to networking or career exploration or how to build connections on LinkedIn.
No, you explained everything really well. I I think I got it for the most part. I don't have any questions at this moment.
Awesome. Well, we can wrap here. Heidi and Rachel, I'll see you guys in 15 minutes. Um, thanks for joining, Danielle. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
Bye.
I'm changing my headset right now.